Hey, happy Tuesday afternoon, everybody. This is Sports Fanatic News. I'm Joe Boric. First, I must say our prayers go out to the people in San Bernardino. There's been reports that there might be a shooting in the YouTube facility, so prayers go out to them. Um, this video is going to be about the Phillies' reaction to their first three games, which were anything but good. We found a way to win the second game, but there was still mismanaging. And then a look ahead to tonight's ball game that got delayed to tonight. We had to wait for the series because of snow, of all things, at this time of the year in Manhattan. But first game of the season, Gabe Kapler took Aaron Nola out with 68 pitches. He says, well, I trust all the guys. Well, that's great. Well, you're the manager of the team, so obviously you should trust all the pitchers on your team. That doesn't mean you take out your ace with 68 pitches because you trust all the guys on your team. You keep in your top two pitchers and potentially top three pitchers in your rotation in if they're dealing and they only have 68 pitches. Heck, you keep in most guys if they're dealing and they have 68 pitches, even if they're your fifth starter. So that was just a very poor mismanaged game. The second game, Nick Pivetta should have went out for the fifth after he got out of the fourth because we only used, I believe it was Ramos, for the first 2 outs before we put Milner in again. So we just used a righty to get 2 outs to then get to a lefty. We could have just put Pivetta back in to get those 2 outs and then get to a lefty, which is something I think Pete Mackanin probably would have done last year. Probably would have let Pivetta go out, try to get those 2 outs, and then put in a lefty because it would have made more logistical sense. I think Capper has been thinking too analytical in the first three games where he wants to go too matched up base, and that's not the game. The game of baseball has to be fluent, and you have to just let it go sometimes. You can't always think, oh, well, this guy might match up a little bit better against this guy, so let's take out this pitcher, even though he's doing decent when he could really get these other 2 outs and save another guy, excuse me. So that game, there was issues, but of course we found a way to win that game. But that was just due to good fight and perseverance by the team. That was still a mismanaged game throughout. And then, of course, we have the third game, which is the game of which we received the warning afterwards from the MLB because of the pitching change, of which Milner was not alerted that he should have been warming up. It was a miscommunication between the dugout and bullpen, and that is something that obviously cannot happen. And then we also had a position player pitch, which is the first time since 1924 that a position player that does not regularly pitched in the first three games of the season. So there's that. So the Phillies look tonight at 7:10 to turn this around and get going after those very bad series against the Braves. Other than the one game we found out how to win. And early season assessments, though, Scott Kingery, Rhys Hoskins, the two guys that are going to be the primary building blocks, we hope. And it looks like they're definitely exceeding towards that now of this team moving forward. And then other guys have been struggling to hit a little bit. Knapp has looked good behind the plate. He's not hitting the best so far, but he's playing great defense behind the plate for the most part, other than the one earn. So we just need to keep getting at it. Kapler had an interview with MLB.com where he said he knows people are mad and they should be mad. A lot of us, all of us are mad at these first three games, but it's an adjusting period. I guess you hope you don't have that with your manager. You hope that's only like a rookie player thing that they might have to adjust to get going, but it could be with the manager as well. So tonight the Phillies face Matt Harvey, who they should jump on because Matt Harvey is not the Matt Harvey of old anymore. He's obviously going to look to have a bounce back year this year after a whole off season, but his his stuff is not what it used to be before his injury, and obviously the Mets hope he can have a bounce back season. I think he'll probably have an average season, like a high 3 or a low 4, so he'll do solid. But I think the Phillies, because we have good fastball hitters, and Matt Harvey likes trusting his fastball, we should be able to jump on him tonight. And then the Phillies got Ben Lively going, who had a pretty solid year last year. He was actually, in my opinion, one of our better looking starters in spring. He was more consistent than most, as Pivetta and Velasquez just got really solid at the end of spring, and then obviously Pivetta carried a little bit of his control and looking more poised and confident and trusting his stuff more on the mound for like the first 2.5 innings. Then he got into some trouble, but he got out of it without giving up a lot of runs. I think that fourth inning, if this was last year, the confidence to keep going after guys would not have been there. So tonight, Lively, Harvey, the Phillies just need to jump on them. They obviously need to keep Ben Lively in the game for a longer than 5 innings, preferably, if he doesn't have a lot of pitches, because they have used 28 pitchers to get through 28 innings so far, and that is not a number you can keep using for much longer of a duration of the season. That's going to tax your bullpen by mid-May. So, Phillies need to jump out early. Tonight is a stream-only game due to the Flyers and Sixers also being on. So hopefully the Phillies can get the W tonight. This has been a video about the Phillies. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.